What up, athletes? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing my juice cleanse recipe. Right, so it's a recipe I've used for the last 15 years to maintain healthy and normal blood pressure within the normal range, and it consists of carrots, kale, celery, garlic, and ginger. In Guyana I use Bakchoy, so it's carrots, Bakchoy, celery, garlic, and ginger, and I've been using it for the past 15 years to maintain my blood pressure. It works by restoring the ionic balance of your cells at the cellular level. So it's rich in calcium, potassium, and magnesium, among other things like the live enzymes, plant enzymes that probably have some useful function when you eat raw vegetables. But in this case, I'm using it for the ions, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. And the way it works is that the potassium is used in countertransport for sodium, so it restores sodium balance, particularly if you have sodium sensitive hypertension. So this is my juice recipe, and let's go.
Oh, this is my day. I'm ready to take it on, come what may.
I'm going to show you my recipe for juicing vegetables. This is a recipe I use once every 3 months, and I use it to maintain normal blood pressure. So it's like a blood pressure kit, and it consists of 5 vegetables. There is celery, so these are my celery stalks. There is bok choy. You can use kale or collard greens or anything green and leafy, spinach, but I use bakchoy because it's nice and juicy. Kale tends to be pretty dry. And I have carrots. So carrots, bakchoy, and celery. And then I have ginger and garlic. So I have about 2 heads of garlic in here. This is a large quantity of juice. I probably will have it over a period of several days, only about half a glass at a time. So this is my cocktail, my recipe: carrots, bok choy, celery, garlic, and ginger. And I'm going to use my Hamilton Beach juice extractor, and we're just going to put everything in one at a time. I usually start with the smaller items like the garlic and the ginger because they can get washed through with the larger volume of liquid coming from the other vegetables. So let's start. Let's see. So there's my first batch. You can see it can collect the pulp, and the pulp is actually quite good. It's still a lot of nutrients left in it, but I don't really use it. Some people use it to make soup, so you can add it to a soup, you know, if you really want to avoid food waste. You can use some of this pulp in your vegetable soup. But that's what the juice cocktail looks like. Right, that's what it looks like. I will pour this into a large container and continue juicing, and then mix all of it up. So you can see at the bottom there is my garlic and ginger. Then there is that orange is the carrots. Then there is, I don't know if you can see that clearly, but there is celery stalks, and then there is Bakchoy. So this mixture contains a lot of micronutrients, living enzymes, plant enzymes, but especially potassium, calcium, and magnesium. And these are important for cellular transport. So they're important ions that are involved in ion transport. And I'm convinced that the way this works to reduce blood pressure is that it reduces sodium, the level of sodium in the blood and in the cells, because it provides the amount of potassium needed for counter transport of sodium. Right, so if you have sodium sensitive hypertension, this is a good juice cocktail, and it works. It's been working for me for the last 15 years or so. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's finished, right? So this is half a glass of my juice cleanse recipe, and I'm going to use this over the next, I don't know, several days, 2 to 3 days. I'll keep it in the freezer, and I'll drink a little bit of it at a time, about half a glass at a time, twice a day, until it's all finished. And what it usually does is within 15 minutes, it reduces my blood pressure or restores it to normal, right? So this is something I've been using for the last 15 years. It's worked like a charm every time, without fail, and so I use it once every 3 months just to keep my electrolytes in a normal range. Bottoms up. Now it doesn't really taste great, so sometimes I'd add something like apples, for example. I can add apples, to sweet apples, gala apples, to improve the taste, but it's actually not so bad if you drink a little bit at a time, and it works, right? So this is my juice cleanse: carrots, kale, celery, garlic, and ginger. Try it if you have the time. Tell me how it works, and in the comments below, share with me some of the recipes you have tried, some of the other juice recipes, juice blends that you've tried, and tell us what they're useful for, because this stuff works and we ought to be doing more of it. Later. So here goes, bottoms up. I never add sugar, but you can add something to make it more tasteful, some other fruits perhaps, but I never add sugar, and that defeats the purpose. There are other recipes, for example, you can use for diabetes, other recipes you can use for other problems, you know. So this is something that I've studied for a long time. It's backed up by my scientific knowledge of physiology, and I swear by this recipe. So tell me what you think.